Hello, my friends, and welcome back. It seems Southwest Airlines has decided to make some changes to their customer of size seating policy yet again, and many people are not happy. Starting in January, the airline will require passengers who encroach upon their neighboring seat to buy an additional seat, which may not be refunded. If a passenger who requires an extra seat doesn't purchase one ahead of time, they will be required to buy one at the airport. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a clip of some people that are upset with this new policy, learning a little bit more about it, as well as looking at various comments on TikTok. So be sure to stick around until the end. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache.
Did you know that Southwest Airlines is changing their customer of size policy? Hey everyone, we're plus size park hoppers and we range in sizes from 2X to 5X.
These are the plus size park hoppers. They go around showing people whether or not they can fit into various theme park rides.
Make sure you like this video and follow us for more plus size tips and tricks. We've been getting a ton of questions asking about which airline we use. As Southwest loyalists over the last 10 years, we were definitely surprised to hear about all of the changes coming. If you haven't heard, Southwest is implementing assigned seating, and with that, they're making changes to their customer of size policy.
Again, because I recently made a video about them changing some of their policies. This is another change. This one's going into effect in January.
The current policy allows plus-size travelers who encroach upon the neighboring seat to purchase an extra seat and get refunded for it after the flight. But unfortunately, as of January 27th, 2026, this policy will be changing. Plus-size travelers can still purchase an extra seat, but it will only be refunded if the flight isn't completely full and if both seats are in the same fare class. While it is nice to know that the extra seat could potentially be refunded, the possibility that it wouldn't remove so much of the peace of mind that the previous policy provided.
I always thought it was a little wild that they were giving out free seats to begin with. To me, the new policy makes a bit more sense. I think the new policy is still more than generous. They're like, if the flight is not full and the empty seat is in your same fare class, we'll refund you for that. So that means you got an extra seat for free, essentially. You're still getting a free seat some of the time, it's just not guaranteed like it used to be. Well, either way, I'm guessing since Southwest did that nice thing for you guys for several years, you're going to be very loyal to this company now, right? You're not just going to abandon them the second they take away your free seat, right? Southwest is all like, where are you guys going? I thought we were cool.
The policy that is unfortunately changing has helped so many plus-size people feel more comfortable about traveling.
It is unfortunate that we have to pay for what we use, but that is the world that we live in for every other single thing, right? Typically, when we want additional things, we have to pay more for those additional things.
I can say with certainty that it has given so many people the confidence to travel when they thought that it might not be a possibility. The customer of size policies aren't just for the comfort of plus-size travelers, but for the comfort of everyone. In our several years of flying Southwest, the majority of our flights have been full, so it's hard to imagine that we would be
Yeah, I imagine not a lot of people are going to be getting refunded. Honestly, airlines try to keep the planes full so they can make money, which makes it even crazier that they were refunding you before, right? They couldn't even afford to do it before. Their flights were all full, yet here they were refunding you for your extra seat. That was very nice of them. As Southwest just learned, goodwill doesn't pay the bills. Bars. Trademark that saying. So you're saying this company, Southwest, eventually decided that they needed to make money to keep operating?
Funded 100% or even most of the time. In a day where flights are already expensive, it's hard to ignore the fact that Southwest planes do tend to have less room overall, are less comfortable, and provide less amenities.
Oh, now we're crapping all over Southwest. The second they take away your free seat, you start crapping all over them, man.
Southwest has honestly taken away everything that made them more convenient than other airlines with no added benefits.
Wow, okay. But we gave you free seats for like years and stuff, like several years. Fair weather friends you guys are.
Ashley and Sarah recently flew JetBlue and they were shocked by how much—
No, you damn don't go on JetBlue. All right, now you're starting to make me angry. It was fine to bash Southwest, but don't you dare try to say JetBlue is better. I swear to God. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know anything about airlines. I can't afford to go anywhere. Are you crazy?
more comfortable and roomy the standard seats were. Not to mention the free Wi-Fi and the TV screens. For our future trips, we'll be branching out and trying other airlines.
None of us can fit into our seats, apparently. We keep on encroaching upon the neighboring seat, and our only concern is getting a free seat.
For our future trips, we'll be branching out and trying other airlines.
Right, they're gonna make you pay for that extra seat also, though. So you're like, if you're gonna make me pay for the extra seat anyway, I may as well go with the better airline. Southwest is so low end that people only use them when they're giving out free stuff.
And those of us who need an extra seat will split the cost between each other. If there's a chance we're going to be paying for an extra seat, we might as well be doing it in a more comfortable plane with a fun little TV.
Okay, so as we learned there, now that Southwest is no longer giving out a free extra seat, we're abandoning them. They're like, all these other airlines are actually better anyway. If I have to pay for that extra seat, I'm going with them. Why are we all dunking on Southwest so much? They give us some free stuff and this is how we respond? Now let's take a look at some of the comments under that video. Brian says, if only there was a solution. Enrique says, the entitlement and lack of accountability here is absolutely astonishing. User 49 says, OMG, if this isn't a wake-up call, I don't know what is. Patrick Starr says, if you use 2 seats, why wouldn't you have to pay for them? I don't get it. The plus-size park hoppers often don't get a whole lot of support online. They go around showing people whether or not they might also fit into a theme park ride if they are plus-sized. They're like, hey, I'm a 3X, I couldn't fit into the Harry Potter ride. W Southwest. Alright, here's a comment on the other side of the argument. Mike says, the amount of people defending a corporation is wild. Southwest has changed so much for the worst. This will increase the cost for other airlines too. Okay, I don't know if people are defending the corporation when they say that you should pay for your extra seat. I don't know if that's what they're on about. Personally, I think we could use slightly larger seats. I'm not opposed to that at all. I don't know what you mean, Mike, by that last bit that says this will increase the cost for other airlines too? You mean more plus-size people will go book flights on other airlines? I don't see how that will increase the cost. If everybody starts paying for that extra seat that they're using more often, I think that will decrease the cost all the way across the board. Here's another comment on the plus-size park hoppers side. They're literally just giving information. Why are the comments so hateful? See, I'm reading comments from both sides. I am an impartial third party here. I don't believe in anything, luckily, so I could just report on this story. You know what I mean? Luckily, I'm completely soulless and I believe in nothing. So I could just bring you this story. I got no bias. A says, it's only fair though. I do empathize, but others want to be comfortable, and if you need 2 seats, you should have to pay for them if they take away from someone else being able to fly. Yeah, I think paying for that extra seat actually decreases the cost for everyone all around. I think that when Southwest was giving out a free seat, all of the other passengers and customers were absorbing the cost of that. They should be able to lower prices now. I bet you they won't though. Tans says, if you are big enough to go onto multiple seats, you should pay for multiple seats. Simple as. Here's another supportive comment from Allie. The people being mad about someone getting refunded for buying 2 seats are also the ones who were mad when a bigger person has to squeeze into a seat next to them. Why can't we focus on the bigger problem? Greedy companies giving less benefits for greater cost. Is that what it's about? Is this about corporations just being greedy if they make us pay for an extra seat that we are spilling into and occupying? Southwest Airlines' new policy will affect plus-size travelers. Here's how. We're just going to go over this very briefly. Southwest Airlines will soon require travelers who don't fit within the armrests of their seat to pay for an extra one in advance, part of a string of recent changes the carrier is making. The new rule goes into effect January 27th, the same day Southwest starts assigning seats. Currently, plus-size passengers can either pay for an extra seat in advance with the option of getting that money back later, or they can request a free extra seat at the airport. Under the carrier's new policy, a refund is still possible, but no longer guaranteed. In a statement Monday, Southwest said it is updating some of its policies as it prepares for assigned seating next year. To ensure space, we are communicating to customers who have previously used the extra seat policy that they should purchase it at booking, the statement said. It marks the latest change at Southwest, which has long been known for letting its passengers pick their own seats after boarding the plane and for letting their bags fly for free, which ended in May. Those perks were key to differentiating the budget low-rate carrier from its rivals. All right, so Southwest is getting rid of all of its perks. Southwest says it will still refund a second ticket under its new policy for extra seating if the flight isn't fully booked at the time of departure and if both of the passengers' tickets were purchased in the same booking class. The passenger also needs to request the refund within 90 days of the flight. If a passenger who needs an extra seat doesn't purchase one ahead of time, they will be required to buy one at the airport according to the new policy. If the flight is full, the passenger will be rebooked onto a new flight. Yes, thank you, Southwest. Okay, that's good because I remember that story quite a while back where an airline, maybe it was Southwest, I don't remember, kicked a woman and her 2 kids off to accommodate a passenger of size. Apparently, with the old policy, you could show up to the airport and not have that extra seat, and they would take it from somebody else. At least according to that story I just referenced right now. Do you guys remember that one? Where that lady was kicked off the flight to make room for that larger person or whatever, her and her 2 kids? Maybe that was because of the old policy. Now, with the new policy, if there are no extra seats available on the plane, you're gonna have to wait for the next one. Sounds like a win for common sense. Jason Vaughn, an Orlando-based travel agent who posts theme park reviews and travel tips for plus-size people on social media and his website, Fat Travel Tested, said the change will likely impact travelers of all sizes. Southwest's current policy helped create a more comfortable flying experience for plus-size travelers, he said, while also ensuring all passengers have adequate space in their seats. Well, everybody is still going to have adequate space in their seats. Some people will just have to pay for the space that they used. I think it's going to make the flying experience worse for everybody, he said of the new rule. Vaughn described the change as yet another letdown for Southwest loyalists like himself, liking it to Cracker Barrel's recent logo change that has angered some of the restaurant's fans. They have no idea anymore who their customer is, he said of the airline. They have no identity left. That's funny to call yourself a Southwest loyalist when every single person who used to use them and get a free seat is now no longer going to use them. You're not really a loyalist. They were giving you free stuff, so you used them. Now that they're not giving you free stuff, you're not going to use them. So Southwest is missing out on what? Giving people free seats. They're not missing out on paying customers. Now we're going to be taking a look at one final bonus clip summarizing the whole situation.
Southwest is changing another long-standing policy. So starting in January, the airline will require passengers who encroach upon the neighboring seat to buy an additional ticket, which may not be refunded. Now, previously, you could either pay the cost of an extra seat in advance and later get a refund, or show up at the airport and request an extra seat at no charge. So now the second seat will only be refundable if the flight takes off with at least one open seat and both are in the same fare class.
That makes sense.
Advocacy groups for overweight people calls the changes devastating since they raised costs.
They raise costs for the people that are using an additional seat, which should lower the costs for everyone else, right? I've always made the point that when Southwest was giving people a free extra seat, it wasn't free. They were passing the cost of that on to all of their other customers. So now that they're no longer doing that, hopefully the prices can come down for everyone. Personally, I see nothing wrong with these new changes. I think it just makes sense. If you use 2 seats, you pay for 2 seats. But what do you think? Leave a comment below. Happy Thursday, everybody. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.